Okay, just a minute. All right, good evening, everyone, once again, and a very warm welcome to yet another session on Perspective is Protect. Today, we have a very interesting topic, which is on reimagining HR with analytics. Uh, a quick introduction, friends. My name is Rahul. For all those who are new to ProTouch and have not interacted with me, I'm one of the directors in the organization, and I also lead the analytics vertical apart from few others. Today we have a very special guest with us, Devarun Mehta. Before I introduce Devarun to the team, let a quick introduction about ProTouch. We are, as most of you know, we are a training organization. And apart from other things, we run certification programs for working professionals. HR happens to be one of our strong domain where we run HR generalist and HR analytics. We are soon launching some other interesting programs in the field of HR and many other things. Apart from certification programs, we also are knowledge partner with all the leading management institutes like XLRI and IIMs, where we run the Gurgaon Center for them. And we, apart from this, we also do a lot of corporate trainings and workshops in the area of gender sensitization, POSH, soft skill, analytics, sales and marketing, coaching practices, amongst others. So that's about ProTouch. Today we have a very special guest, Devarun. Devarun, a very warm welcome. Good evening to you. It gives me immense pleasure to introduce Devarun to all of you who have joined us. Devarun has a very interesting career so far. He is a senior analyst at Sirion Labs. Before Sirion Labs, he was with American Express, managing talent analytics for them in Gurgaon. Before that, he was, and that was, I think, his experience before he did his management. He was with Eco Rent a Car, where he joined as HR executive, went on to become senior HR executive. Held a few other roles apart from that in the field of HR. He's a he did his BBA from MIT and went on to complete his MBA from Birmingham City University. A very interesting career, and I'm sure today's session is going to be very interesting. I have been on a panel along with Devarun on another event, and I thought it will be absolutely appropriate to have Devarun interact with all of you today evening. So I will be moderating the session, but it will be largely interaction between all of you and Devarun. Devarun, a very warm welcome. And friends, I would encourage you to keep your videos on. It gives a very different energy to the session if the videos are on. You know, although Devarun will be taking you through a deck, but if you have any questions, please feel free to type it in the chat box, and at the appropriate time, Devarun will take it up, or we will take it up once his formal presentation is done. Yeah. Okay. On that note, Devarun, over to you. Very good evening and a very warm welcome.
Good evening, Rahul, and thank you for this wonderful introduction. It's a pleasure being here, and I was really looking forward to this because this topic is really close to me, and being very having a background which you can say is pretty much young, and it's been what 4 or 5 years in this particular field, but I have seen a lot of changes going in this small 4 or 5 years of span in the whole HR analytics front. That's why I think it's very exciting for me to share how I've seen the transition in terms of how HR analytics has shaped up. So first of all, let me just probably share my screen, and I want to go through. So is my screen visible? Can you all please confirm?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, it's visible.
Yes, sir.
All right, thank you. Just give me a second. Perfect. So I'll just go through a little bit of terms and concepts here, and I'll quickly go through them. I won't take too much time in this, and then we can go straight away to our discussion, which will be the more interesting part. So let me quickly just start here, and you all are most welcome to stop me anywhere if you have any questions. So first of all, just give me a second. I think, yeah. So HR analytics is a very interesting topic because HR, as a field has been evolving in a very different space in terms of, the analytics part of HR was, I think, maybe looking into some data that 2010 onwards, the analytics parts of data was, a part of HR was actually looked into, because before that, the HR was seen more to do with recruitment, L&D, these kind of aspects. So straight away going to the topic, what does HR analytics actually mean and how is it different from people analytics? So there is this common misconception that HR analytics and people analytics is the same thing. So let me just clarify, it's not. So let's go through these definitions, and I think hopefully it will clarify why is that. So HR analytics is the process of collecting and analyzing HR data in order to improve an organization's workforce performance. This can be also referred as talent analytics, people analytics, and workforce analytics. So all these three are completely different aspects. So this method of data analysis takes data in its routinely collected by HR and correlates it to the organization's objective, which is the final goal of the organization. So doing this provides measured evidence on how the HR initiatives are contributing to the organization's goals and strategies, so that the senior management can understand that how the HR part of the business is contributing to the organization's goals. So let's take an example, like if a software engineering firm has a high employee turnover, the company is definitely not working at a complete productive level, right? We can understand from that. So it takes time and investment to bring employees up to the complete productive level. So how can we judge that? We can judge that and we can understand that through analytics, through data. So now HR analytics provides data-backed insight on what is working well and what is not, so that the organizations can make the necessary improvements and plan in a more effective manner in the future. So in the above example, you can see that the cause of the firm's high turnover can provide valuable insight into how it might be reduced. So this will overall benefit the organization, right? So now looking at these terms, so I'm pretty sure that a lot of you are probably hearing the term people analytics and workforce analytics for the first time. So don't be scared. Like, it's not something which we very commonly use in all organizations, but it's always good to know, what is the difference between HR analytics, people analytics, and workforce analytics, so that once we are, focusing on which part of analytics, we know that what we are actually looking into and what type of data we're looking into. So like we said, that HR analytics specifically deals with the metrics of the HR function, such as time to hire, training expenses, and then all these metrics are managed exclusive by HR and for HR. So completely HR centric. And then we come to people analytics. So people analytics, though at times, comfortably use a synonym for HR analytics, which should not be the case, but is technically applicable to people in general. So it can encompass any group of individuals, even outside the organization. For example, the term people analytics can be applied to analytics about the customers of an organization and not just its employees, right? And now looking at the complete umbrella term, which is workforce analytics. So workforce analytics is an all-encompassing term referring specifically to employees of an organization. It includes on-site employees, remote employees, gig workers, freelancers, consultants, and basically all parts of the organization. So we have this common question in our mind that, we know that there are a lot of statistical jobs in the market. So how is HR analytics different from a common statistical job? So these few pointers can probably help you understand how it's different. So we have revenue per employee, which plays a very important factor into, updating the management, that how effective or how productive the strategies are. And then we have offer acceptance rate. Then we have training expenses per employee. Then we have training efficiencies. Now let's look at what these are. So revenue per employee is obtained by dividing the company's revenue by the total number of employees. So this indicates the average revenue each employee generates, as well as to measure the efficiency of the organization. So then we come to offer acceptance rate. This is the accepted formal job offers. Please note that accepted formal job offers divided by the total number of job offers given in a certain period. So if it's above 85%, it's a good ratio. So that calculation can be understood. So then we have training expenses per employee, which is obtained by dividing the training expenses by the total number of employees who have received the training. And similarly, we have training efficiency, voluntary turnover rate, involuntary turnover rate, time to fill. I'm not going through these because these are common terms and you can all search it and understand. So I'm just giving you a context here. So now, okay. Just give me a second. All right, so now we come to a very important topic. So what is the importance of HR analytics in terms of the organization? So now most organizations already have data which is routinely collected. So why do we need a specialized form of analytics? Can HR not simply look into the data and they already have? So this is not as simple as it sounds like, right? Unfortunately, raw data on its own cannot actually provide a very useful insight. It would be like looking at a large spreadsheet full of numbers and words. Without organization or direction, the data appears totally meaningless. So now, once organized, compared, and analyzed, this raw data provides us useful insight. So what all questions can be answered, like what patterns can be revealed in employee turnover, how long does it take for hiring an employee, amount of investment needed, then how likely are the employees in a particular function to leave within the year, are L&D initiatives having a direct impact on the employee performance or not? So these kind of questions can be looked into through the help of HR data, right? So having the data backed evidence means that organization can focus on making the necessary improvements and plan for future initiatives. So with the ability to answer important organization questions without any guesswork, it is not surprising that many businesses using HR analytics are attributing performance improvement to HR initiatives. So now this is a very important thing to note, because of these kind of questions being answered slowly in the HR world, the HR data and the importance of it has slowly become more prominent, and people are understanding that through this HR data they can identify that what is the missing link and what is the way they can improve their organization's efficiency. Else it's mostly guesswork which is being done, hit and trial method. So I think this is something which is there in terms of change in the industry. So this should be noted. So now, why has HR analytics become so significant in the new normal? So this is a very relevant thing that we need to look into, that in this new normal scenario, what we call. So why has HR analytics become so important for this factor? Now the COVID-19 pandemic.
Debaran,
Yeah.
If you're okay, I think Adya has a question. Adya, you raised hand. Do you have a question here?
Sure.
If you can just take that. Yeah.
Yes, sir, in the previous slide, while you were explaining what questions can, HR analytics help answering, there was a point which said which employees are, most probable employees that can leave within a year. So how do we get to know that?
Yes, so this is done by looking into the attrition data. So what we need to do is we need to look into the complete attrition data that we have, and then divide it into what all roles and what all designations and what all functions these employees are into. And finally, the most important part is what is the reason for them leaving, right?
But sir, will that help us establish the particular employee who's going to leave within a year?
So we cannot exactly, look into the exact employee, but we can at least predict that, in this particular department, there is going to be attrition, right? So we cannot exactly, probably it all depends like how structured the data is. If the data is very structured, then we can definitely through various other aspects also, like the performance data that we have of the employee, or let's say the salary in the complete market for that particular role that the employee is doing, and how is it matched in the market, and what he's receiving at the company. So if that is satisfying that employee, then he is likely to stay. If that is not the case, then it is quite likely that he can leave if it's subpar or really below par for him. So these kind of data points can help us. So does it
So
answer your question?
more likely as a trend, as a pattern, not like
Absolutely, it's definitely.
Yeah. So Deborah, if I can just add here.
Sure.
So Adya, we also do all these cases in our analytics program. So let me just answer that. And I've consulted various organizations. As Deborah said, it depends on how strong is your historic data available. Okay, if the historic data that's available with you, and the beauty is in and how courageous you are to challenge your own beliefs. Okay, but if you are true to it, you can actually predict to a very large extent, at least 6 months to 8 months in advance, that who is the person who's likely to leave the organization, because there are very clear patterns that an employee demonstrate before the employee exit. And if you have drawn out those patterns properly, you, with the use of predictive analytics, you can actually pinpoint with, and the good part about analytics is that it will also tell you the probability. Say, for example, it can tell the probability of, say, are they changing the job in next 6 to 1 year time is, say, 90%. It will also tell you with what accuracy it is telling that. So predictive analytics, it will also tell you the accuracy of that prediction, whether it is 50%, 80%, 90%, or even 95% accurate predictions. But you can.
So that it's like highly data driven, exclusively data driven.
That's right.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, Deborah, over to you.
Yeah, so like Rahul said that, we can only predict and we can only look at the numbers, but then again, what the action the employee is going to take, that is definitely his call, right? His or her call. But then again, it helps us to become, aware and to be prepared for the worst come scenario. So that is what this helps. That is what HR analytics helps. Hope that answers your question.
So what I'll do, Adya, I think
Yes,
since we are on that point, and attrition is a pain point for all organizations. There are only two big issues. We are not able to get talent. We are not able to retain talent. I think if you ask any HR head, what are your two biggest pain areas? This will sum up the whole thing. Okay. In next 2 to 3 weeks, I will do a special session so that it will provide you those insights that how can you really predict it. Okay. So we will do a small session around that on one of the Wednesday evenings. All right, Devon, over to you.
Thanks for the question. Let me just probably move on. Let me see if my screen, yeah. All right, so we were talking about how HR analytics has become very significant in the current new normal scenario. So looking into the health crisis, which is impacting severely on a day-to-day basis. So with the industry growth rates projected to be the lowest in so many years, which is thankfully slowly increasing now, touch wood, and business continuity from a workforce management perspective will take precedence, and HR teams will be required to track, measure, and preempt what can go wrong in the employee space to minimize the impact of the business. Again, like the point we were discussing, this kind of prediction will help us drive the business. So the voice of most organizations in the current situation can be stated as this is a quote that I've picked up: in the new normal, our ways of working will be more agile, more liquid, and more flexible. We will have a completely new lens to look at talent, roles, performance measures, governance models, and work policies differently. So for managing the new normal and for providing a successful crisis response strategy, HR is expected to track a variety of information beyond what is being currently tracked, right? Before the new normal. All right, so these are the 4 broad areas that we need to look into, which is managing the employee cost, then employee availability, employee communication and well-being, and then redeployment or rationalizing or reskilling opportunities. So let us look into it one by one. So first of all, managing employee cost, which is a big time factor for all the organizations now, and in any organization in general. So companies are looking at every avenue to minimize the cost, and since a significant proportion of the operational cost is the employee cost, there is a disproportionate focus getting assigned on managing employee costs. So we have seen that when the COVID-19 had hit in our country, so a lot of attrition was there, a lot of people were being fired. So this is a direct impact of that. So now employee cost management, which is fixed cost versus variable cost models, and production viability and part-time employability, cost variability, then wage bills to revenue ratio, so on. So then we come into the recruitment part. So the new hire costs and the replacement hire costs, these need to be considered, and quarter by quarter, how it is working out. Then modeling the future workforce needs, like looking into the structure, the span of control, and then as well as the comp and ben. So with a tighter control on a budget of how we utilize the limited kitty, that is the best, basically optimizing of the resources, right? Then increment and correction kitty, shall we run increment or correction cycle or not? Because a lot of people might be aware that during this scenario, a lot of companies have had made it very clear that they will not be giving increment during because their business have been impacted, and again, this was a direct impact of that. So the bonus kitty utilization, then if bonuses need to be paid or shall it be deferred, then promotions, critical role safety net, and then payouts, health insurance, and sales incentive projections, they are all being impacted because of this. Okay, now coming into the second point, which is employee availability. The availability of employee will be a bigger challenge in this scenario, right? Because the safety concern is playing a big time role, because they don't want to travel and they don't want to be in a scenario where there is kind of a health hazard for them. So for now, looking at the points, like I said, for safety concerns, higher the willingness of employees to continue to work from home, employee infected or quarantined, migration of labor. So this was more relevant, I can say, in the starting of the COVID-19 scenario, but now thankfully the situation is slowly improving, and this helps us track the infection trend and the prevailing trend. So this overall helps the organization in making these decisions. So then we have the reopening of, like, we are now seeing the offices being reopened, and it is all because of these data that they have looked into, and this has definitely helped them in taking such a decision, whether remote working then should be carried out or not, or containment zones which were initially made during the starting of the pandemic. And then as well as the absenteeism and productivity was something that was looked into. Okay, now we come into employee communication and well-being. So now we know that many of us are working alone in isolation at our home, but the mental health factor comes into play here. Accordingly, we are seeing that an increase in touch points are also a frequency of internal communication, like location-wise plan of communication sessions, and fitness initiatives, investment, measuring effectiveness, then pulse surveys. So this helps in reassuring the employees that they are being, they feel a part of the family of the organization, and they are not out of place. So coming to the last point of this, the redeployment or rationalization or the reskilling opportunities. So first of all, we look into the talent management part. Now here we have critical role identification, critical people identification for the right talent. Now succession planning for key roles is also very important, because in this scenario, having this factor in mind is really essential, because so many people are being or have been like directly hit because of this virus, and what is the backup plan that the organizations have. So this factor plays into there. So do we have a track on the successor for a critical role? How soon can they take up the role in case of unavailability of that holder, like I said? And then employee skill data, low performers or non-performance, and outplacement of career transitioning. These are all being looked into based on the COVID scenario. And now if we look at learning and development part, so we have these pointers here: new business focus and time spent on LMS on or other courses, then course completion, then drop off rate, job impact, training, because all these things need to be coordinated on an online basis. So initially it was a little bit more challenging because the employees as well as the people who are taking care of driving this were not really accustomed, but slowly and slowly, as and when they got more used to it, it became a part of their lifestyle. So now coming into a very important question. So how does HR analytics help in shaping the business? Now HR has access to valuable employee data, right? We all know that. So now the question arises that how can this data be used to enable change in the organization? There's a great deal of discussion on replicating the consumer experience in the employee experience. Essentially, the data on consumer behavior and mindset can help develop strategies as well as maximize sales by capitalizing on these factors. Similarly, the data useful for the HR function can be used to improve employee performance, employee experience, and in turn, maximize the business outcomes. Now, HR analytics could be used to measure investment in reskilling, which we deliver the right competencies to support a new revenue model, using data-driven insight to modify the training offering as sales results emerge. Now, this is completely definitive that how it impacts the bottom line, or it can transform the employee engagement in an organization. So these kind of things are really helping the organization to take a decision that how is it being shaped, or does it cater to the vision mission of the organization or not. Now investing in HR analytics can help in business with the below advantages. HR analytics offers some undoubted benefits, which are to significantly streamline processes, reduce costs, reduce attrition, and consequently improve the bottom line. With task automation, you are freed up to innovate and explore the human aspect of human resources without spending time on tracking mountains of data from multiple sources. We all have, this habit of kind of, going ahead and continuing with the same set of way we have been working with data, right? But due to this work from home scenario, a lot of organizations, they have picked up automation or HR automation tools and various portals, and through this these pointers become much more significant and much more relevant to us. So now, due to the fact that data is siloed across the organization and conversations about the goal of implementing analytics are unclear, the valuable data HR requires for analytics is often underutilized. So by making a strong business case to key stakeholders as a HR practitioner, you can leverage the power of analytics to become a strategic business partner who makes substantial contributions to the business. So this is how it directly impacts the business. So this I want to just put into context that we all might have heard. We listen on a very lighter note. We initially used to hear these fun part that HR makes rangoli and HR does all these carries out all these engagement activities and all, but HR is not just about that. So with the inception of HR analytics and the importance of HR analytics growing through the working of the HR data, we can see that how much we are actually showing or in terms of contributing to the business directly. So this is completely changing and is in the process of even increment is happening in this particular change. So now this is the last slide that I have, and let me just give me a second. Okay, so let me just clarify that when we talk about HR analytics, we are talking about data, right? So data can be fetched through various resources, various sources, And we have a lot of tools and techniques and a lot of platforms right now in the market. But we need to understand and we need to decide what is the right tool, what is the right way of approaching that tool. So we can probably see here, or probably this will be able to a little bit answer your question on how to approach it. So due to the fact that big data applies to such a broad spectrum of use cases, applications, and industries, it's hard to nail down a definitive list of selection criteria. Though overall, one can follow the below steps: identify the goals, look towards certain industry specific use cases, and then think about the end user. Now, while it's easy to get caught up in the possibilities of big data tools, defining the main goals of your program and developing a well designed strategy is far more important than the tools themselves. So, what do you do to achieve with your data strategy? Start by training a handful of business problems or opportunities with the biggest impact, be it real-time asset monitoring or a deeper understanding of what your customers want, and build your toolkit around these core goals. So this is a very simplistic approach and a very effective approach. So now secondly, looking at the industry specific use cases. So we need to do some research to find out which analytics platform, tools, and capabilities in the industry are being used to solve problems or create the opportunities in these areas. So for example, retailers might look at how other companies use AI recommendation engines on sentiments analysis to improve the customer experience, whereas a financial service, this may be more concerned with fraud detection. So this basically means that it is from depends from organization to organization and case to case, right? So now finally thinking about the end user. To capture the most valued form of big data, you will need to implement a data strategy that involves everyone in the company, from the C-suite to your customer facing team, and consider how analytics apply to different roles within the organization, which users need simplified solution to support decision making. So now coming to the, again, a very important question. Do you need HR centric rules? Do you have HR data science capabilities? So if we don't have an answer to this, so this is really big time question mark for an organization, and they need to look into it. So I think I'll finish with my concepts here, and I'll stop sharing my screen. And I would like to answer what all questions you all have, and please feel free for me to go to any particular slides that you want me to show you, and any particular topic that you want to discuss. So please, over to you.
Okay, thanks, Dev. I think it was very insightful. Let us take few questions. Just raise hand if you have a question, or just put in the chat box, whichever way you are comfortable. Would love to hear from you. In the meantime, let us take a couple of questions that are there in the chat box. So there are certain career-related or course-related questions, which I will take it towards the end once we have done with questions which people have related to HR analytics. Loknath is saying how to attend your upcoming session. Okay, so I'm not clear on the question. So you can follow us on Facebook and LinkedIn. So all our upcoming sessions are posted there. So wherever there is a session, it's definitely posted there a couple of days in advance, so you will not miss it. And if you are in touch with any of our career advisors, so they will also keep informing you. Okay, great. So there are a couple of questions. Navjot Singh is asking a question. Sir, I have around 1.8 year experience in HR, and I am BA graduate. After 2019, I have around 2 years gap due to COVID. All right. And I have learned some tools from YouTube like Tableau, Excel, and Stats my own. Okay. I have uploaded my resume on Naukri, but haven't got any call. Not a surprise. Because they said that you are from non-technical background. I want to make career in HR analytics. Know what I have to do. Okay, good question, Navjot. First of all, a brave question and a very honest question, I must say. Let me take this up. Navjot, what you are going through, many of you could be going through this. So let me answer your question in 2-3 parts, because your situation has 2-3 different lenses to be viewed from. First, if you are serious about making a career in HR analytics, then YouTube is not the place to go. Okay. Will you ever fly with a pilot who have learned flying from YouTube? Yeah. You know, if you're in an aircraft, you know, you want a pilot to be well trained, you know, and not learn flying from YouTube. You know, we also have an employee in our organization who have learned Scooty from YouTube. No one sits with her, you know, because see, if you want, Navjot, if you want knowledge, YouTube is the best place to go. It's the best place to go if you want to, you know, if you want to know something, if you want knowledge. But if you want to learn a skill, you can never learn a skill on YouTube. For any skill development, you need a trainer to be working with you. So you need to be with a trainer. Okay, so that's point number one. Second is your question of that people are asking that you're not from a technical background. I think barring few exceptions, I think this phenomena is true. So let me put things in perspective here. You have two paths to make a career in HR analytics. If your question is without having a technical background, can you be in HR analytics? The answer is yes. And the example is right in front of you, Deborah. And I can give you many other examples who have made a career in HR analytics without a technical background. Two things are important. For if you want to be good in analytics, you need a strong domain knowledge, which I understand you have because you have. I'm not sure whether you are a HR professional or not. You said you have 1.8 year experience in HR. So if you will straight away apply for HR analytics profile, people may not consider you because you're not from a technical background. Because if they are looking for someone to be in HR analytics, they want either someone who has already done HR analytics or is from a technical background. Otherwise, I'm not saying your chances are not there. It's not possible. It is possible, but the chances are remote. Your best bet, Navjot, is to get into a good organization through a route of HR. Whatever role they are giving you, take it. Till the time they have HR analytics as a vertical in the organization, get into that organization. Prove yourself that you are a good HR professional. Parallelly, get yourself trained on analytics. And then start taking up smaller assignments within the organization on analytics. That is your best chance to get into full-fledged HR analytics because that, you know, and that's more realistic approach. You know, if you straight away apply that I want to make a career in HR analytics, chances are less. Let me tell you, organization would rather take a fresher who has done BTech, did MBA HR, learned a little bit of analytics. They may prefer them vis-a-vis you. So your path should be get into any organization through the route of HR, who has HR analytics vertical, take smaller assignments, and then convince your management that you can do HR analytics. Give some results, show some results, and that's the way to go. You know, Debrun, if you have something to add to this.
Absolutely, 100% agree to that. So if I talk about my career journey, I think that will probably give you a little bit of confidence and a little bit of insight. So I started with recruitment. And then after doing recruitment, I thought that maybe that's not the best domain that I want to, you know, continue doing. So I moved into HR operations, and while doing HR operations, I got this opportunity in my first organization in EcoRent-A-Car. So there they were implementing, you know, the HR automation tool called HR1. So I was pretty sure about the fact that, you know, they'll be using a lot of I basically have to play around with a lot of data there. So I was really interested, and I saw that, you know, the data vertical is growing at that and kind of booming at that point. So I, you know, tried my best to get into it, and thankfully I got that opportunity, and they let me implement that particular software. So there I started finding a knack and started liking working on data. And probably, like Rahul said, that it was not a direct path. I did not join the company as a HR analyst. I joined them probably as a more like a, you know, recruitment support. But then again, because that opportunity was there, So I was able to grab it and kind of nurture it and grow on it. And because of that, moving ahead, I moved into the data space.
Good. I think that's a journey. I think we have to be, one is fancy words. Second is a very practical approach. We have to understand what we have studied, what's our background, what have we done so far, and what's the most practical way to approach. And if you come to, Prota, you will always talk about a more realistic, practical approach rather than start living in a dream world. Yeah. Yes, you will always have one example, one in a million who have cracked it, but you have to see what is the best possible and practical approach. Say, for example, let me take a couple of more questions here. So Shika Pandey is asking that I'm pursuing BBA now. So how can I continue this HR analytics? You can just sign up for it. If you are interacting already with someone in ProTouch, it's good. Otherwise, you can reach us on, I'll just drop in a number. So this is our inquiry number. You can just, after this session, call us up. Someone will help you. And you can straight away move into HR analytics, no problem. But do HR analytics if you have a domain knowledge of HR. If you're doing, BBA in HR, it's great. If you have understanding of HR. Otherwise, I would suggest first do HR generalist program. Understand HR as a function, because you cannot start doing operation unless you know how human body function. No one will let you do that. So first understand how human body function and then get into a little more complicated topics. So first do generalist and then get into analytics is a more practical approach, and I would recommend. And you can do it together. It's not necessary that you have to do sequentially. You can do it together. Ajay is asking a very good question. He is saying that HR analytics is how far effective in talent acquisition or retention for that matter. I think, Ajay, these are the two biggest pain area of HR. And you go to any HR director on this earth, he will fall for these two things. He said, yes, these are my two biggest problems: how to get talent, how to retain talent. Yeah. And 90% of the work that is happening in HR analytics is to solve these two big problems. To predict when an employee will leave, which Adya was also talking about. How do I predict more accurately who's likely to leave? And then what after they've said, okay, fine, now you know who's going to leave, what are you going to do about it is also equally important. And why did it reach to a situation that employees exploring? See, because once a person started thinking to leave, you have anyway lost 80% of that employee that day. Because then he's only physically coming to work, mentally he is applying and started exploring where to go. So why did we reach to that situation is because objective of analytics is to solve organizational problems, not to do damage control.
Right.
Once you know that this employee is likely to go, then it's a damage control. You have to think that what led to that situation. And right, how can you address it much before then the person has already started thinking, because it's a very nice saying that, when you lose your employee, when he has started thinking about leaving it, you've already lost it that day. Then it's a formality. What is the last working day? Right. That's only a number. Okay. And in both these areas, a lot of work is happening. Ajay, I'm happy to have a conversation with you separately, wherever we have time.
Okay, sure, sir.
Give you much better insights into it.
Because I mean, at entry level, it's okay, it's fine. Analytics could do. I mean, a lot of things we can assess, we can assume what is happening around. We can, read their minds. But at senior level, I mean, I guess they are different. I mean, it's very difficult to understand what they are planning when they may move out. So this course of action is always a an issue with us.
That's right. So Disha is asking a question. So anyone who has a question want to ask, just raise your hand. I will bring you in. In the meantime, I'm taking questions from the chat box, which Disha is asking a very interesting question. She's saying, she's doing BBA HR final year, and she want to work in payroll processing. And it comes to so is it part of HR analytics or a different role? Disha, the simple answer to your question is it is different. Okay, so payroll processing is more HR ops. So it's a different role. For that, you will have to learn payroll processing, which is part of more generalist roles. So you can do that there. But your question is relevant. Melinda, you asked a question earlier. I could not take it up in the chat box. I thought I will take it a little towards the end, but I think it's a good time. You have raised your hand. Go ahead, over to you.
Okay, sir. So I had done my MBA in HR. Then recently I was working for 7 months at Adecco as HR recruiter. I was working as 3 months for HR recruiter and 3 months like dealing with documentation.
Right.
Since I was not able to grow there, I thought so that I don't have idea where to go away. So that I want an idea on that.
Okay, good. So you want me to be nice with you, or you want me to be honest with you?
Be honest, sir.
Okay. So the honest answer is you have spent 7 months in an organization.
Yes.
If you leave this organization now, you are not doing any justice to your work or to your profile, because next job, the first question will be why you left in 7 months. You may have your answers, but they will start doubting that something went wrong. Okay,
Right.
you are in HR, you recruit people, so you know how important is stability of document. Okay.
Right.
Second, every job has a lot to offer. Adecco is a good organization. Every job has things to offer. Spend some time there, learn, contribute, at least take some promotion. Don't make a judgment that in 7 months that there is no scope of growing. You are yet to deliver. And first focus on delivery, be a star performer in that organization, get some growth. You will be better positioned, because next organization you go to, if you have a promotion under your belt, you have something to showcase, some results to demonstrate. And I would suggest stay with the organization. Learn, contribute, stay with the organization rather than just switching, unless until things are not very good. But if you want to have a separate conversation with me or Dr. Aparna, happy to connect with you. If you are already in touch with any of our career advisors, they will help you connect to us. Because don't take decisions like this. It will not do any good to your career.
Okay, sir.
Yeah. Asif Ali Sheikh, over to you. Your question, please.
Hi, good evening, sir.
Good evening.
Sir, actually, I want to ask you which kind of tools we are going to learn in this HR analytics course.
Good question. So if you are doing from ProTouch, there are 3 things that we will teach you. One is we will teach you analytics on Excel, because no matter whichever tool you learn on this earth, 80% of the time you're going to spend on Excel. And Excel is a great tool to do 80% of the analytics can be performed on Excel. Excel has really evolved over a period of time. But we also train you on Python and Tableau. Tableau for visualization, and Python for if you have to perform analytics on slightly more complicated data, or if the data is too big, which Excel cannot handle. Or you have to get into some other domains like text analytics, because in HR, you have a lot of written content, So HR is a great tool, but it has its own limitations. And if you are stuck with those limitations, then you can come to other tools like Python or R. We train you on Python. You can take R as a separate add-on if you want. But in my opinion, learning both is meaningless. Learn one tool, but learn well is what I would suggest. So we train you on Excel, Python, and Tableau.
Okay, sir.
Good evening, sir.
Good evening, Nitya. How are you?
Good, sir. Good, sir. Sir, like even I am interested in this HR analytics, but the background of Python knowledge I don't have.
Okay. So our program is designed in a manner that you can come with zero knowledge and we train you. So,
yeah, I have that hope on you.
so there is no prior. So if you have basic knowledge of Excel, that's enough. You should not have zero knowledge of Excel, then you will really struggle. But if you are having a basic knowledge of Excel, then I think it's fine.
That VLOOKUP, HLOOKUP and all I know, but other than
that's enough. That's enough. Because in Excel, there is something called as analysis tool pack that is used. And
Mhm.
for that, no HLOOKUP, VLOOKUP is required. But if you have good understanding on, say, pivot tables, you can do a lot of exploratory analysis, and then HR analysis toolpack takes over.
Okay, so even that pivot table is also taught, sir?
Yes.
Okay, so in which domain in HR we will be able to get a job, sir?
Good
Like,
question. So I think this part of Navjot's question I have not answered, but since you have brought this up, let me take it up. So friends, what happens, and after that I will ask Debaru to share his thoughts on this topic, because it's an important question. See, HR analytics is a skill. Okay. This skill can be used in two ways. And it is going to be a mandatory skill as you go forward. You know, I speak to many CEOs around the world, and there's a very clear indication over the next 5 years, HR analytics is not going to be an optional requirement. It is going to be a mandatory skill for HR.
yeah.
Now, once you have built this competency on analytics, you can use it either in, so 90% of you guys would be using it in doing your HR roles better. You may be doing any role in HR. You could be doing a role of talent acquisition. You could be doing a role of compensations and benefits. You could be doing a role of talent development. You could be doing a role of learning and development. You could be doing a role of any role in, or you doing a role of HR business partnering. Any role you do, if you have to perform that role well, you will have to use HR analytics, because at a very fundamental level, HR analytics help you make better decisions. Because problems will get solved by taking better decisions, and analytics will help you make better decisions. And that is where most of us will be spending our time. Yes, few of us will be going into core domain of analytics and data science, which will be rare, and those will be people coming from tech backgrounds and all that. But most of you, any role you do in HR, you will have to use analytics to make better decisions. Otherwise, we will fall back on our gut feeling.
Sir, the main challenge in the company we are facing is that recruitment failure.
Correct. Wrong hires. Wrong hires and
also
offer drop-off. Offer dropouts.
No show.
No show, yeah. So you're not the only one.
And it's like my boss is crying every day. Mera process fail ho raha hai, business kaise chalega?
At least you are in a good position. Your boss is crying, not you.
I am not into recruitment.
It could be other way around. You could be crying and not him. Okay, good. So, Nitya, thanks for asking that question. Charu, over to you. Hi, good evening. Your voice is very low to us. If you can be a little loud. If you're using a headset, just get off it. Use the system audio. Charu, will come back to you. I think your audio is still very low.
Hello.
Yes, now it is clear.
Yeah, it's fine now.
Are you in transit? Are you traveling?
I think it's a disturbance. Can we connect again?
Yes, please. Thank you.
Hi, Rahul.
Hello.
Hello.
Charu, I think you are in travel. And there's a lot of disturbance.
Hi, Rahul. Can I
Yes, that's why I'm asking.
Yeah, just Rakesh, I'll come to you. Just give me a minute because I'm not able to mute Charu. Yeah, she is muted herself. Thank you. Yes, Rakesh, over to you.
Hi, Rahul. See, I just want to give a little background about me. I'm working as
doors will open on the right. Please mind the gap.
I'm working as HR manager.
So now we all know Charu is traveling in metro.
Okay, so let me start my question. So currently I'm working as a HR manager for the small size company, around 70 to 80 employees. So I have around 10 years of experience in whole employee life cycle and HR operations. It's been 10 years and I just wanted to shift my career and I would like to move to some big company or mid-sized companies. So how HR analytics benefits when I wanted to shift to other company? Because as you know, when it comes to small company, the exposure will be limited and even the policies or whatever it may be, it is very limited. So how it benefits when I move to or if I wanted to move to big companies or mid-sized companies?
So the honest answer, Rakesh, is you have a good experience and you don't need anything major to move to a big company. Okay? So I think you have all the right experience and competencies to move to a big company. If you pick up HR analytics, it will help you in two ways. The minor part of it is your profile looks better, but that's only a very minor part of it. Okay. The major benefit that you will get by learning analytics, because all your roles from here on is more strategic in nature, which involves a lot of complex decision making, and many of these decisions can be game changing for your organization. Okay. Now, that is where analytics will help you, and you, at your experience level, you have to look at analytics not from the point that will it help you get a better job, but from the point that will it help me do better in my role. Is my suggestion, but I will invite Debrun on this point to share his thoughts.
Absolutely. And more than anything, like Rahul had mentioned before, so the root cause analysis can be done on the basis of these insights, the data insights that you can get from your current system. So that will allow you to present to your senior leadership or your leadership that what is the current problems that the organization is facing and what factors we are probably overlooking as an organization or as a function. So this will definitely put forward your importance or your role or your contribution in a major factor. So that will be a big time advantage for you, which like Rahul said that, with the help of this course, you can portray that, you can probably showcase that in a better way. That will help you, structure and define, how you want to, make the changes and on what basis and what data part do you want to actually look into, because we can get lost in the world of data, because when the data is huge, when the universe is huge, we might be looking at the wrong set of data. We have to know that where do we actually need to look into. So these courses and these insights will help you look at the right data structure, look at the right data points, and help you take such decisions.
Okay, thanks.
Absolutely.
Thanks, Rahul. Thanks, everyone.
So, for more details, I'm also adding the program brochure to the website, onto the chat, and also providing you our website address if you want to connect to us. Any other questions? There are a few questions on the chat. Let me just take that. Before that, let me also put my LinkedIn profile. It will be a good idea to stay connected for all those who are not connected with me yet, because from there you can also stay updated on all the information that we keep sharing from time to time. Okay, so I have shared all the details. Let me take few questions which I may have missed out. So we have a question from Dr. Kokila Saxena. She's saying she's into academics. Wow, for 22 years, but want to switch in corporates. Good decision. Corporate needs academicians. I undergone various certificates like HR generalist, post-trainer, practitioner, and HR analytics. Want to know prospects. Okay, I will give you very good suggestion, which you will be thankful to me for. Dr. Kokila, have an interaction with Dr. Aparna, who is our director. She is an academician, moved to corporate world, and now an entrepreneur. So she will guide you very well. If you are in touch with any of our advisors. I'm not sure. If you are not, I am also putting Dr. Aparna's LinkedIn profile here. Get in touch with her. She will be she is a go-to person for you. If you're moving from academics to corporate world or have any other plan. Let me just see if I can. Yeah, I'm able to pull her profile. Just give me a second. I will put it in the chat. Please get in touch with Dr. Aparna. She is our director, and she is an academician, move into corporate, then move to entrepreneurship. So, and because your question will need a more detailed discussion, to make you understand what are the pros and cons, what are the key shifts that you will have to be prepared for, things like, because these are two completely different worlds, academics and corporate. Okay, I think it's 8 o'clock. So I will stay back, friends, if you have more questions, but we have promised Debarun to let him go at 8. Thanks, Debarun, for joining in. It was absolutely amazing, your insight and your thoughts. Thanks for taking out time. A big thank you for entire ProTouch team to you, Debarun. And I'm staying back here to take if the team has any more questions. Participants.
Thank you for having me.
And you have been a wonderful participants. Thank you very much, everyone, for joining in. Although I am staying back with my team, if you have any more questions to me or anyone from ProTouch.
Sir, I have a question.
To me or Dev?
To you.
Okay. Just give me a second. Let me just say thank you to Dev, and Deepa, I'll stay back.
Thanks again, Rahul. Thanks for having me, and thanks for all these wonderful questions. So, like I said, this is a very close topic to me. So I was literally having fun discussing and listening to you, all of you as well. So a lot has been learned. Very knowledgeful and interesting session. So thanks for this. So I'll sign off.
All right. Thanks, Dev. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Thanks.
I'll connect with you a little later. Yeah. Thank you.
Sure. Thank you.
Yes, Deepa, over to you.
Hi, sir. Sir, actually, I had been with one of your counselor last few days, and I have enrolled for HR generalist role with you. And my training is going to be start from from Sunday onwards. That's going to be, yeah. So my question is, as of now, see, I have a background of, I did BBA long back in 2002, BBA in HR.
Okay.
And then due to but I could not do anything in HR that point of time, and I joined BPO's section that point of time, and then I left my job. But again, I started now, and presently I'm into BPO domain, and I'm working with British Telecom right now, and want to go in HR. And the organization is really very good, and I want to, go into HR in this organization. So what are the prospects, and what are the, which way I have to go ahead? The first thing I have done is enrolled with you to get inside knowledge of entire HR.
Yeah. So Deepa, I think you're thinking in the right direction. First get knowledge. Okay. First learn HR, which you will do it through this course over the next 3.5 months. Once you are confident about that, you are now understanding the domain well. That is a good time to go back to your management and request for some assignment in the HR team along with your current role.
Okay.
If you have an IGP route, that's one option, but IGP route may not be very fruitful at this stage, given your experience, and your manager will also not let you go so easily. So because
IGP do come in our organization very often, but
sure.
I don't know how much, in HR domain, I don't know they recruit much people.
Yeah.
And
see, the good point is that you are with a good organization, so ask for some small assignment first along with your current role, because right now you also don't know how much you are in love with HR. Okay, it will also give you and rather than making such a big shift in your career, take out smaller assignment, take some projects in HR along with your current role. That will also give you a chance to interact with HR people and make a right impact and impression in that function. And then slowly, given the right opportunity, move. Okay, is what I would suggest. Give yourself, 9 to 12 months to fully move into HR. Don't jump, because you don't know how people are going to react to your request. Okay.
Right.
Take smaller assignment. First learn. 3.5 months, just learn. Because once you have learned and asking for a smaller assignment, people will appreciate, because then you are also exhibited your curiosity to learn a new skill,
domain.
new domain.
Skill.
Yeah. And then ask for some, say, give me some learning and development projects, or give me some complement projects, or take some projects, and then exhibit your capability, and then slowly ask for a move.
Okay.
I think that's a better way to go.
Okay. Thank you, sir. Thank you so much.
Welcome. And there were some couple of questions from freshers in the chat, that you are a fresher, how you want to go about. Say, for example, there was a question from, well, it's on my personal chat from Panthagi. She's saying that she's just completed MBA in hospitality management. That's good. Looking for HR department. I have no experience. You're a fresher. Which HR role will fit you? Okay. I think the first thing is you have to learn HR. Okay. And what role fits you? You are a fresher. I think you should explore. My suggestion is, if you have any particular preference, try for that. Otherwise, take whatever you get first. Avoid the pure PLA recruitment roles. But if you get any journalist kind of roles, please take that. Otherwise, take a recruitment role in an organization where you can move out of recruitment into journalist. Otherwise, there is a possibility of getting stuck in recruitment role sometimes. But for more details, please discuss with one of our advisors. They will guide you better way, because sometimes these discussions can take a little longer for you to understand how to really move, because you're a fresher. Poonam is saying, so since you sent me a request on the personal window, I will appreciate if you can get in touch with me separately through one of our advisors. I will be able to guide you in a better manner, because I've read your situation, and this needs to be discussed a little more in detail, because you've already worked earlier. So please get in touch. If you are already interacting with someone in the organization, it's good. Otherwise, I'm dropping a number. Just speak to one of us, and they will be able to guide you in a better way. And then they will fix up your time with me if required. Okay, so you are in touch with Kanupriya. Thank you. Thanks for sharing. So I'll request Kanupriya to fix up your discussion with me or Dr. Aparna maybe in next 1 or 2 days, so that you are able to make a better decision. I'm not sure if she's there in the webinar right now, but I will convey your message to her. All right. So if there are no further questions, friends, then we can wish each other good night. Have a great evening ahead, friends. And see you in our upcoming webinar. Please follow us on. So next Wednesday, we are having a very, very interesting webinar on assertiveness techniques, which is on next Wednesday, same time, 7 p.m. So we will have a session, very interesting session every Wednesday evening at 7 p.m. So next week, Dr. Aparna will be conducting on assertiveness. Many of us need it, including myself. So I will be very keenly looking forward to that session. So see you next Wednesday at 7, and have a great productive week ahead, friends. Bye-bye. Take care. So Mohak is asking a question, yet everyone is scared of recruitment, how to deal with it. So Mohak, let's have a chat sometime. You know, we will have to discuss. There's nothing to scare. It is all about preferences. Please, if you're in touch with any one of our team members, it's good. Otherwise, get in touch with any one of us. I'm putting the number again for your benefit, and they will help you out. And if required, they will fix your discussion with me or Dr.
Sir, I need to talk to you. Sir.
Go ahead.
Sir, Marita here.
Marita, go ahead.
Yeah, sir, I need to talk to you regarding a job change actually, which I'm a bit skeptical to take. So I just want
It's your personal discussion?
Yes.
Okay.
When can I talk to you, sir?
How soon you have to take the decision?
They told me to tell within 2 days.
No
maybe.
problem. So are you in touch with any one of us?
No, sir. So I'm doing the course with you all, HR generalist.
Yeah, so you have your advisor, right? Career advisor. Who's the career advisor? You are aware of that?
Vandana.
No, she's a placement officer. You have Anjay. So fine,
Yeah.
I'll communicate to
Hi,
Anjay.
Marita. Yes.
Hi,
Oh, Anjay is there. Oh,
Sure.
okay. So Anjay is
Yeah,
here.
yeah. I'm
So-
here. Yeah, I'll
you-
arrange a call with you, sir. I'll do it. Yeah.
All right.
Thank
Yes.
you. Thank you.
Thank you. Yeah.
Okay. All right. Thank you, everyone. Take care. Bye-bye. Have a great evening ahead. See you next week.
Thank you.
Okay, bye-bye.